Hey, John.
Hey. Happy Friday again.
Happy Friday. Today's theme is Hauntings in School.
So we're both feeling very young, is it?
I wanted to wear my school uniform, but I cannot fit inside. I cannot button it.
That will be a sight. So we're going to treat us to tonight.
Yeah, so today I've got a song for us.
Mm?
Usually I start the show with a song that's related to the theme. And when I look for schools or songs with the word school, there's so many. So I decided today to go with a little bit old school. Not that old, but in the 90s where you have bands plays songs like Stacy's Mom. And this is along the line of Fountain of Wayne and Blink-182 kind of
Nice.
stuff.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
Let's play this.
Rock us.
Her voice is echoed in my mind. I count the days till she is mine. I can tell my friends cause they will laugh. I left a member of the staff. And I fought my way to front of class to get the best view of her ass. I dropped the pencil on the floor. She bends down and shows me more. That's what I go to school for. Even though it's a real bore, you can call me crazy. I know that she craves me. That's what I go to school for. Even though it's a real bore, 'cause I have plenty. None like Miss Kenzie. That's what I go to school for. That's what I go to school for.
Is anyone here? What did you find?
You are listening to Supernatural Confessions. Oh, okay. Asap the place. Today's story like very keras like that. Better asap.
Okay, blessing all the mics, blessing the stream. Okay. Wow, I want to say that song explains a lot about you.
That
Is
was a
it
song I grew up
biographical?
with, you know. There's a stuff, yeah, maybe that's why I like older women, right? No, but there's the kind of songs
Wow.
that we grew up with, and I think songs like that, if you come out today, it would just be cancelled, lah. It's like, how dare you treat
Yeah,
women
I
like
think
that?
so.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think so. I think so.
But this was the 90s, and you get away with a lot of things. And the Attitude Era, right, guys?
So welcome everybody. Supernatural Confessions Friday Night Live, and tonight we are looking at schools. Wow, shock, very shock, very keras, and plenty of stories. So tonight we have some short ones and some quite impressively long ones as well. Well, with lots of detail, so that'll be fun. Right, and I'm sure that there will be some fresh off the cuff ones that are coming in as we go along. So you want to tell them what to do if they have a sudden story that
All right.
relates to the theme? Yeah.
So I have left my number pinned to the comment section above in case you cannot find it behind the toilet doors. My number is 94594931. And if you, well, we all been to schools. We've all heard some stories. I think the school stories are as plenty as army stories, if not more.
Probably more because
More people go
army
to school than
stories-
army.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. So you figured that out. Okay.
Yeah. Don't waste it typing it in the comment section. Text it to me. My number is 94594931. And as of 3 Fridays ago, we have started this live section where you guys send it to us live and we read it on the spot, like without preparation. And it's quite fun, right? We are as surprised
But
as
keep
you
it
are.
short, please keep it short. Don't send long essays.
Yeah. You want to send a
Otherwise
long
we'll
one
be here
also
till
can, but we will not be able to read it live. We will save it up for the next full confession like this.
Part 2 of the school series. Yeah. So please send it to us, right? I'll send it to Eugene so that it doesn't disappear, right? And also it doesn't distract everyone from enjoying the chat, right? Because otherwise we'll be trying to follow the soap opera while trying to follow the stream. Very difficult.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
you will notice that the stream goes up very fast. And if we missed out your comments, we do apologize. But there is a way you can get your comments read, your opinions
Really?
heard. Yes,
Tell us
John.
how.
Well, for just $9.99, you can capture our attention. You can hit the $ button beside the comment bar, and you can send us super chat, super
chats.
emoticon, and
Yeah.
it'll pop up in a huge colored box, and John and I will not miss it. Yeah.
No need to be $9.99 lah. Can be any amount you wish.
Can be an amount.
Can be any more you wish also can.
That's right. We do this
Yeah,
every
be
Friday
cool.
with you. Friday Night Live is our shtick. This is the social life. This is cooler than being out there in the clubs. And why go to the clubs? It's very haunted. Don't go. Friday Night Live is the best. So today is, I think, episode 17, if I'm not wrong. We are halfway
I lost
through the
count.
year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
And 2024 has been full of surprises for us. I hope you enjoyed as well. We are your hosts. We haven't introduced myself. I'm the Prince of Paranormal. The what Wendy called the Hantu Honcho, Eugene Tay, and beside me, that's the man before time, the immortal Jonathan Lim. And together we keep you entertained Friday night after Friday nights with ghost stories. Tonight will be about hauntings in schools. So
Big hello to everybody who's in the chat, right? Let us know if you are listening in for the first time or switching over from podcast and seeing our faces for the first time. What a shock that must be. And let us know also if you're listening from outside Singapore, so we can give you a special hello. I know that there's some people from Perth, right? Natalie Life is here from Perth. I think there's also Ethan. Ethan is your middle name. Why am I using a middle name? Nathaniel and So Chang. Sorry, Ethan. Also from Perth, right? Let us know if anyone else, anyone in Europe, for example, listening to us at a weird time of the day. Yeah.
wow. I'm just looking through.
Yeah,
Is
I
that
know.
a new
Suddenly,
name?
right?
Serene Popo? Is that a new name? Serene Popo. Erickson has not been back in a while. Erickson
Hello,
is
Erickson.
from, he's in Singapore, but he's Indonesian. Yeah. Rahida
maybe-
Angin.
Yeah,
new name as well.
that's new, right? Min Risa was saying that Eugene's singing is getting better, so that might mean that Min Risa's hearing is getting worse. I don't know which is which. Oh,
Whoa.
Camellia. Hello, Camellia. Long time listener, first time super chat.
Thank
you
you,
so
Camellia.
much. Yay.
I met Camellia few last week. She is going to be one of our confessor.
Nice.
But no show you face. I have to blank face.
Okay,
Sorry,
no
that
shave
one.
it. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, this one. Okay. This one you must read lah. This one. This next. super
Hello, SC peeps. Hello, John. Just saw you. I imagine that's how Safwan sounds like lah.
chat. Yes. So Safwan, if some of you might have seen on my IG, he's my official SC Friday Night Live stalker. Yeah, and
We have made it. We got stalkers. No, brother,
stalks
you
me
got stalker.
so well. Okay, like pounced out on me, and just
Yeah.
now on the way home, he pounced out on me again. No, he was actually in my void deck,
He was waiting under the void deck for
Seriously.
4 hours.
sitting in my void deck. So hello, Safwan.
Yeah. Oh, Angel
Successful
Shoe.
Ooh,
Angel Shoe. Bonjour from France. Mark
Nice,
Shipo, I'm
welcome,
so
welcome.
late. Ooh, no lah, not so late lah, Mark.
Not so
on
late,
time,
not
on
so
time.
late. EOW, Eow. Okay, Eow says I'm new. Okay, yeah, is that how you
Oh.
pronounce it? Eow. It's like
Eow.
meow without the M. Eow.
Yeah.
Okay, Eow.
Yeah,
you're
Sean.
new. Okay.
Sean, I started watching SC only recently. Was watching all the previous podcasts and found them pretty interesting. Thank you, Sean. Hopefully this one makes it interesting.
Okay, Safwan says
Nadia
he was
Ngwek,
waiting for his friend. Okay, am I your friend? Or you have another friend and you're gonna stalk me together? I'm getting very scared now. Okay.
A web Jean, Jean, is that like Bjork?
Uh-huh.
Like the O with the cross. Web Jean. Good to see your channel expands around the world.
Alsatian. Okay, Alsatian here. Super chat. Hi guys, just popping
Wow.
by, leaving Liao, got to work.
谢谢你. You put in $2, then he zao. Donation.
Listen to us while you're at work lah.
Wholesome bread asked, am I first today? You see? At 10:10, he or she come in, am I first?
In some
maybe he came in
multiverse, you are first today. Not in the one that we are in, sadly. Wow. Okay.
Wow.
Oh, wow,
Rahida
okay.
says, yeah. Go on.
No, I was gonna read that one.
She
You
said,
read?
been hearing you guys for years. I'm like the Hantu just listening you guys from Facebook, podcast, and YouTube.
Actually, I only read the first part of the comment, so I thought, oh, since she's a child, she's been hearing these two voices in her head, and then now she finally realized who it is.
Which your parents have been watching our show while you're in the tummy.
Wow. Okay. Cool.
Okay,
Oh,
so
wait. All right.
oh, what was it?
Shall we get started? So exciting
Yes. Okay.
because there's a lot of stuff. Okay. Dang.
Ladies and gentlemen, Supernatural Confessions and Friday Night Live would not be possible without this following members. They are
One
our
breath.
patrons.
One breath.
Okay. They're our patrons. And if you want exclusive content, which have been dropping out a lot more lately and more to be coming soon because there's something that's going on in my house, join us on Sentient Entities, where you get to hear from me directly. And these sentient entities are Elaine Chua, Tungku Association, Mco Grimm, ZP Matt, Queen Lai, Lim Teck Chuan, Alvin Sensei, VL, Casey Chan, Alexa O, Janice Ang, Jacqueline N, Yong Kwan Yu, Han J, Jerwin, Dato Easy, Starving Jack, Hot Water Bottle, Sharon Ng, Eric, Lindsay Huan, Edwin Lee, No Sweat. Wandering Spirit. You all go. Deborah Confield, Checking Toe, Linda Hayden, Elias, Jess Neo, Jerry Fish, Bibi Teo, Tay Hak Wee, 2 Cents, Elvin Lim, Kenny Polaris, Giant T, Saretzo, TTB, Jujube, Jume, ZP, Davin Des, Gary Fu, Isaac Lam, Martin Felony, Don Xie, Ed A, Yao Siu J, Karina, Yani, Guyver Chang, Shi Kai Chong, Shafwan Side Out, T. Emilia, Sarin Tat. Oh, Restless Souls, Sujieto, Grace Chai, Candy Chia, Ron K, Jack Ong, Nicholas Pua, Burke, and you see Sarintan is missing because she went up from souls to spirits. Cheryl Y, Kelvin C, Lakshmi, Julian Tan, David Glenvix, Kabilan, Hoshka, Derek Lim, and Khan. Thank you so much for being our patrons. If you want to find out more, go to patreon.com/supernatural-confessions.
You are so almost at the limit, right? I think next week you cannot. Next week you cannot.
You guys are training me to do the underwater, sit there, meditate for 3 minutes.
So please
Alright.
join our Patreon list so that we can make life difficult for Eugene. Yeah.
Yeah. So today about schools, John. Maybe you start with
Me.
ours first, lah. Huh? Before we get to the confession. How's your school like?
Wow. Okay, so I'm one of those boring Singaporeans who was in like the same school for like a damn long time, right? Because and for some reason I started school before everyone else did. Because I did 2 years of pre-primary. I don't know if anyone out there does pre-primary, right? It's like not yet ready for primary, so you have to do. And this is after kindergarten, so K1, K2, and then like got pre-primary somehow. So I must have lived 2 extra years longer than everyone else, right?
So you're truly the man before time.
Yeah, exactly. So pre-primary was already in this certain school, and then I was in that same school all the way to Sec 4, right? But what was interesting was we went through so many buildings because it was that time where my school had was sort of searching for its final home, right? And it only reached its final home when I graduated. So I've been in every damn school my school has been into except the one it's in now. So
Graduated in
frustrating,
1845 lah. About there.
before bricks were invented. Yeah. So, but it meant that we went through a lot of very keras places because when your school is moving, what you're doing is you're renting all these abandoned SLA properties. So we like sit in some strange school for like a year and a half, then run away. So got stories lah. But at that time, I was kind of supernaturally innocent. I didn't go and ask what's going on. I didn't ask anything. So I didn't actually find out why we left the schools. But now I want to go back and find out. So I'm getting in touch with my primary school mates, and then we shall find out more. You? What about you?
I don't think I've ever been to a school that is not haunted. Let's put it that way. Yeah.
And because of you lah. They're haunted because you're there, right?
Maybe. But that time I was also supernatural virgin, so it's not like as if I brought anything but it's never firsthand. It's always hearsay. And it's really what I said last week. Remember, you seed the fear. The fear was seeded.
That's true. That's
but
true.
I still believe that there was one experience in primary one. Till this day, I maintain that what I saw was not normal. My I didn't go to preschool and all. I mean, kindergarten, yes. Then primary school, right? My primary school was Opera Estate. And if you talk to anyone in Siglap and they say Opera Estate, very keras. But you ask them why keras, cannot tell you why keras, but keras. So I remember walking out of school and the gate swung. We're talking about the school compound, and then there's another house here and a longkang in between.
Okay.
So I was waiting for school bus, and I stood there and I saw the gate open, close. And then when I looked up, I saw a woman sitting there. Like I said, supernatural virgin, did not consider anything, didn't even know what Pontianak was, just like, why is that Cheche sitting on that tree? That's all. It was only years after that I realized, so why is that Cheche sitting on that tree? In white and long black hair. Then the fear was post. It came post. Then I went to
warden trying to catch like kids trying to sneak out from the school and jump down.
Long white gown. Then after that, I was in Temasek Primary, and the Temasek Primary, the old school is the one where you go by the drain, you brush teeth on. It's all like story. It's very old and
the classic Singaporean school building. Yeah.
Then there's always the top floor toilet. You realize it's that top floor toilet. All school top floor toilets haunted. All school.
I think it's the MOE requirement. Yeah.
The top floor toilet must have 1 and 2. Then later on was Loyang. And if you go and Google Loyang Secondary, it actually made the list for one of the most haunted school. And like what someone mentioned on the group chat, it happened at the D&T block, the design and technical block. So it's not a 4th floor toilet, it's going to be design and technical block. These two.
Is the building still standing?
The building is still standing today. Yes, expanded, new annexes have been out there.
Okay.
And one of our members, Salim, he used to stay opposite the school. So then Singapore Poly also got the Red Bridge and the toilet, also another famous story. So every school I go haunted every school in Singapore haunted.
It seems to be, right? And I think as we go along during the night, we will sort of start discussing why I think this phenomenon exists. I think Eugene and I have different attitudes towards this, right? But it is really quite a phenomenon. I don't know if every other country has so many haunted schools, but Singapore for sure, there's no school that escapes, and think there might be a very simple reason why, which we will go into as we go along.
That's right. As you guys are watching Friday Night Live with us, Jonathan and Eugene, you have come to grow with us, at least this Hantu sympathizer era with John and I. That is not just ghost stories that you learn from us, but also the lore, the possibilities, the discussion, the what could be, what may be, what if, and what do you think?
Yes, that
Right?
includes the conspiracies as well.
All right, so we're in for Friday Night Live. Quite interesting topic tonight. Now it's 10:18. I suspect we might go a little bit past 11:30. Okay.
For sure.
Okay,
Okay,
the first
you want to
story was-
start us off. This first one quite short but shook, man. This one,
This first story was sent to me by actually somebody who came for our walk. John, you met him yourself. Melvin. Last year.
Melvin. Hello,
Melvin.
Melvin.
Yes, and we were sitting around the table having milkshake, and he says, "I've got a story about my school," and he sent me a photo. And when I saw the photo, I'm like, "Wow, ball shrink, man! Tell me
Yeah.
more."
Quite
So
goodness.
this was sent in by Melvin. I'm going to read it out now.
Yeah.
Mystery Black Shadow at Chongling High School. The photos were taken at Chongling High School in Penang. My friend just got a new camera and was taking random shots around the school. You know what? I'm going to show you the photo first. Go back here. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. Okay, photo. Okay, ready?
Ready.
Oops. Okay, this one.
Just for a split second. Okay. Again, this one nicer. Okay.
You see a corridor. You see
Okay.
students lining up.
Tell the story, then let us search as we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, look at picture. Look. Can't do both. Yeah. Wait.
Okay.
So I read out from here, okay?
Okay, again.
Okay.
Right.
Mystery Black. Okay, let's do this again. See, look at the photo. Mystery Black Shadow at Chongling High School. Confessions by Melvin. The photo was taken at Chongling High School in Penang. My friend just got a new camera and was taking random shots around the school. When we looked through the pictures after, we saw this black figure in it. Ding, ding, ding. Okay, let me move here. Okay. Give you a bit of background about my school. It was established in 1923, but was later taken over by the British Army to be used as a military hospital in 1941. During the Japanese occupation, the school was turned into a torture, interrogation, and execution camp. Many former teachers and students of CLHS also were killed for sending money and other contributions to China during Japan's all-out invasion against China in 1937. Tales of school being former Japanese torture camps are a particularly popular explanation for apparitions of headless corpses and sounds of marching soldiers, boots on the baseball court in the dead of night. When we circulated this photo around to our friends, many of them say that we might have caught the spirit of the murdered teachers and students. According to hearsay, people have seen students roam the corridors at night after the school is locked for the day. When the security or teachers call out to them, the student will disappear through the walls. There were even multiple cases of mass hysteria that happened before my time in school. There are dogs around the school compound that would occasionally bark at empty spaces, leading us to speculate that the dogs could see things that we couldn't. Damn. Okay.
Wow. Where is this Chongling High School? Penang, huh?
Penang.
Okay. Well, the history of that school is very dark and very violent, right? And it's interesting that that kind of history becomes sort of a cut and paste history, though. Like many people say, "Oh, my school was a torture chamber. My school was a torture chamber," And I do believe some schools were, but not so many, lah. Because they had many things to do other than constantly torturing people. They had a country to run, for example. But yeah, I think some schools were. And then it became sort of a popular thing to add to the richness of your school's history, right?
Yeah.
I do believe.
You realize that when it comes to the Japanese, usually
Yeah.
torture chamber, interrogation room, all comes with the set meal.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Right.
It does. But actually, if you think about it logically, during the Japanese occupation, most schools carried on being schools because people still had to study. So, it was not like a period of no education for anyone. Schools went on. So
Yeah, I like the particular rumor about Old Changi Hospital having a torture chamber and an underground interrogation room. Remember that one?
yeah,
It
yeah,
went.
yeah.
It was popular for a long while in people's psyche, and then only to realize that it was just part of a made up portion in the movie called Singapore Haunted. It was not even real. Yeah,
But the desire, I think, for that,
the
right?
desire.
It's like you want to believe that there were these really dark pits of evil, right? That came out of the war, and I guess the logical place to put it would be a place like, the old hospital, or in your case, your school, which is probably the most frightening place a child can imagine. Right?
If
Your
anyone
own
has been
school.
to a school camp, you will realize around campfire there is this one-upness of whose school is more haunted.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah. And I think that has led to a lot of these add-on histories.
Yeah.
By the end of the night, your school has gained a lot of violent past. And then
Anglican High, the one from the east side. I remember it was a place for beheading and all that.
got me.
Don't know, but apparently, okay. So, but there's one school in the east, confirm got beheading, confirm got mass burial, St.
Which one?
Patrick's.
Ah.
That
okay.
one historically proven. Only that school. No one else. No one else was able to prove.
Anglican High actually no lah, very peaceful, right? I used to play a lot at Anglican High because my very good friend in school, my very good school friend, was the son of the either principal or vice principal there, right? And for some reason did not go to the school that his father ran, and instead went to my school. So after class, the school bus would drop us off, and we'll go to the Anglican High School where his parents lived, right? And we'll play in the school, right? The only two boys from another school that were playing there. But yeah, it seemed very peaceful. So does anyone out there know anything interesting about Anglican High? Please let us know. I will
The clock
verify it
tower.
with the.
The clock tower is the supposedly most haunted place in Anglican High.
Never lay. It's like in the whole time that we were playing there, it was never like an interesting place to us. He should know the stories, right? And he should also interest me in these stories. But somehow, like, we never talked about them. Maybe we were just good Christian boys back then, and we never talked about these dark things.
Yeah lah, probably. You cannot not allowed to believe. Okay, another
I
place with
see.
Japanese influence in the east side. I only
East
know the
side.
east side, guys. So if you're from the west, you got any stories you share with
too
me?
bad.
East side, I know. Chung Cheng High. Chung Cheng High School,
High.
Main. Chung Cheng High, Main.
Okay.
The one with
Right.
the pond. It was used as a Japanese camp, or was it around that period of time. They were still around.
Okay. Okay.
Then
Ooh,
apparently there were
Jujube.
What?
Sorry, Jujube is saying Anglican High is my school.
Right,
Clock
man.
tower is supposed to have stories.
See the clock tower, I tell you.
Supposed to have. Ayo. Okay, headless basketball player. That one interests me much more. Headless basketball player. That's a very interesting game that you will play. Okay. Please
Thank
tell
you,
us more
Gabby.
about that. Tell us
Yeah.
more about the headless basketball. Okay. Yeah. Oh, hello, Gabby, come. What does Gabby say?
Gabby say, Belanja you kopi. Keep this going. Thank you.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Sweet. Wow. Yeah. See, Daphne also says Anglican High Clock Tower. Okay. So Anglican High Clock Tower has obviously emerged as a legendary place, but for what? Can anyone share with us what specifically was in the clock tower, right?
I can
Was
tell
it
you
some-
what the cab driver told me.
Wow.
It's
Okay, come,
keras.
Cap.
It's keras.
and that's enough.
The
for
clock
us.
tower. Oh, yo, Anglican clock tower. Hey, yo, I tell you, it's keras.
Why?
That's it,
Got
huh?
clock. Because got clock.
No, lah, but it's okay. The same way we want to see Old Changi Hospital as a Singapore Gothic castle on the hill. It's the same way we want to see Anglican Clock Tower as the Big Ben, the haunted London clock of Singapore. But
Yeah.
what I hear is there's a shared hearsay, okay? Because we went to Anglican High for school camp. So they were saying
Right.
that there are shadow beings around the staircase area. So if students go up there to try to explore the place, you'll see the caretaker's ghost.
I think that as a school kid, right? Your school becomes a very sort of familiar place to you, right? Every corner has been explored. So if there's a particular part of the school that is forbidden to you, like the clock tower, it will suddenly gain a lot of mystery, an inordinate amount of mystery, because it's like sitting in the middle of my territory is this forbidden place, the clock tower, which you're not allowed to climb because it's dangerous, right? Or you mess up the clock, So it gains a lot of glamour, right? Dark glamour,
Ye-
you know, in the same way that
yes, I
the
agree with that.
forbidden classroom, the empty cubicle, the thing that
Anything
is
forbidden lah.
hidden from you that you see every time but cannot go in, then you automatically sort of create reasons, right? I remember in my old school, one of my old school buildings at Queen Street, the abandoned band room, and we're like, oh, why is it abandoned? Must be ghosts. I'm like, no lah, they had a better room elsewhere. They went there lah, But it's like, oh, we can hear band members still playing inside. I'm like, yeah, really, that's lame. But yeah, that it sort of collects dust and cobwebs, and also it collects the reputation, right? Because it makes you ask the question, why am I not allowed to go in?
So are you saying that most of these school hauntings are not true?
I will say that no, don't put words in my mouth. Okay, I think that it is very easy
Okay.
for a part of a school to gain a reputation. Very easy. So all it takes is a strange sound that cannot be explained, or a glimpse of something in the corner of your eye, and normally it might be dismissed, but not if it's connected to that room, that corridor,
Yeah.
that staircase, then it automatically blossoms, right? And that story sticks because everyone else in your school is thinking the same thing, which is, why is this room forbidden? So they will grab at this story. If someone heard a cat meowing in a strange way, straight away, it's something. So I see the mechanism in place for a lot of law to be churned up, right? It may be based on something that actually happened. It may not. It may be a misunderstanding, misinterpreting, who knows? But, it's so ready to happen, right? It's so ready. And some more, it's school kids, right? Who is more ready to make up stories than kids? We don't make up so much stories when we're adults because our lives are very full of
Too
stories.
busy.
Yeah, exactly. Our
Taxes
hard
and mortgage
drive
and
very
loans
full.
are driving us nuts already.
Yeah, but young people are so curious, and you want to collect, right? The more stories, the better. And some more, there's a lot of currency to ghost stories when you're a kid. Because those stories make you the cool one at the next barbecue, at the next camp, right? The saddest person is the one who has no stories to share. Kind of like Supernatural Confessions, but yeah. So I think again, right, there's a desire to, like you said, the one upness, right? My school also got, yeah. So I think all of these things are factors that make schools very fertile ground, but also we must later explore why they are actually places that also are fertile for hauntings lah. Okay.
Okay, can. I will give you the
To-
alternate point of view.
yes.
My point of view after the next confession, okay? The next one you're going to be reading, John, is...
Yes.
which
Okay,
one
wait,
is that?
before I start, Josebo is agreeing. I realized I heard a lot of stories about music room being one of the rooms that are haunted. And you know who I bet always says that music room is haunted? People who are not in the band. Because to them, the music room is some strange world of like weird instruments, and I can't go in because I will damage stuff. But to the band members, it's like, please, not that room again. So again, right, it's about what is exotic and what is mysterious, right?
I can explain why the band room has a lot of haunting, but I will save that for later. I'll read out Serene Popo. She dropped in $28.98. It was her first
Wow.
super
Hello.
chat. She says, my current workplace, which is a preschool, still at East Side, baby. I know which school is East Coast Park one. I know which one.
Oh, okay.
Near where the big slide used to be.
Oh.
We experience cases of momok, but we just ignore.
Ayo. So poor thing, the momo kena ignore.
The kids are scarier.
That's true. I was just rewatching. You know what movie I was just rewatching the other day? Mama. Remember Mama?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Which is,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I did think actually, right, that the thing that made the film weird for me was that the two kids were actually much more frightening than the mama. Mama was kind of cool. She's like floating around and being weird. But the two kids are like, oh man, I don't want to deal with you.
She's the one that goes to she appears at the doorway in the court with the baby hand and goes like, shh. Is that one, Mama? Or is that a short film, Mama?
That's the short film, I think. Yeah. In the longer version, she's just like, she's in the cupboard. She's in the closet a lot. And she's in the shadows, and she's quite nice. She's quite cool because she's like, oh, wispy smoke kind of thing, you know? Yeah. Okay, wait. Speaking of wispy smoke, I think we have drifted very far away from that photograph that we have not discussed at all.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we took this great detour and then we never came back. Can we look at the photo again and analyze? Because I wanted to see closer whether it is sort of translucent or sort of see-through in any way. Is there any way to zoom a bit? It looks very solid for a ghost.
I'm zooming as best as I can because it gets pixelated beyond here already.
Yeah, true. It's an old photo, right?
So right side is the corridor, the original photo, and the left side is a zoom-in photo of the black. And Melvin was saying, how come my confession's so short? Bro, you give me all the details. I read out everything already. That's all the details you gave me. I had to ask questions. I gave him a list of questions I was asking him to give me so I can actually form a story.
Don't worry, we're going to analyze this photo and then sort of get some meat out of this. Okay? I'm seeing a figure that is sort of slouching in a weird way, right? It's like sort of walking with the back bent, but like thrusting the hips forward in a strange kind of way, right? Is that what you're seeing?
Okay.
Because I'm thinking it's facing the left of the photo. No, the right of the photo. And the left. Facing the left side of the photo.
I'm in agreement with you on that. So it seems to me. So let me give you a bit more information on what I have when I spoke to Melvin. I asked, is there any structure there? Is there anything placed in that corridor that could give this silhouette, or maybe based on the lighting coming out from outside, it forms a shadow? You know, I'm trying to science it always, right? He says no. Yeah. And when he took it, it was there in their line of sight. There isn't, and because they were queuing up, and this was their classroom, they could see both sides of the corridor. And because they were taking photos actively, just looking for things to sort of randomly snap, a shadow like this that appears right in the middle of the corridor would be very, very obvious. They said no. And then when they showed this photo around, other students have said, it is not uncommon to hear, not to see, but to hear how security guards or teachers have seen apparitions moving down the corridor, but they have never taken a photographic evidence. So all these sightings were just orally passed around, but this was probably the first photographic evidence of an apparition walking on a corridor. And they did say they can see shadows any time of the day.
Gosh, yeah. I mean, this is clearly not a Kara's time for a figure to appear, but yet there it is, right? I'm very curious whether after taking the photo, someone went, "What's that?" and then everybody screamed and ran away, or what?
No.
Like what happened immediately after this photo was taken?
Nothing. It was back to normal. They took the photo and then it was just in the camera.
Okay. So they didn't even notice what it was, that there was anything until much later.
They noticed, So it's only when they review the picture, then they, what the hell is this?
Can you imagine if you were one of those school kids leaning on the parapet and like, I was this close?
I see, right? Okay, this is pareidolia at work, of course. Yes. It was moving to the left, from right to left. But what I also noticed is the person had no leg. Or at least the person's leg is deformed and is moving on the ground. It's half body.
Really? It seems quite tall to me.
Because it's at the windowsill, the head's at the windowsill, so it can't be tall. When you walk past the classroom, you're probably at chest height, right? Or but this is only neck height, so
so which is why I thought it was sort of slouching. So it's lost a lot of height, right? If it stood up straight, it would actually be quite taller than the kids. You know, but now it's sort of slouching low. Its neck is at the level of the parapet, sort of, right?
Yes.
So it's slouching in a very strange way. So maybe it's a deformity, maybe, you know. But it's very opaque, it's very solid, right? Is it carrying? Can you see any sign of hands or anything like that?
Okay, I'm going to try to zoom in as best as I can.
A bit more. This is the part of the horror movie where it turns its head suddenly and looks at the camera. It seems to have a white collar or something like that. I'm
It's
seeing.
quite freaky.
Are
It's
you
quite
are you
freaky.
seeing something around the neck?
I'm
That might be
seeing as if the head is tilting. Yes, it's looking. It's not really now
right.
looking to the left. I'm getting chills. It's like
Maybe
looking
it's
towards the
looking at
camera.
you. Oh
Its
dear.
body is facing the right, but it's slightly tilted, and the head, I can see like the chin is
Yeah.
upwards, looking at the camera.
Yeah. And you see the patch of white there. Is that a lanyard or something underneath? Or a collar, a priest's collar. Ooh. And if you look a little bit further down to where maybe its hands might be, you see another white patch, right? Right, sort of where the knees might be or something. You see there's
I
another
got a
white
feeling
patch.
that white patch, I'm willing to discount it. Maybe it's just the wall, the ventilation holes in the brick,
It's a bit
right along
it's
the
a bit
wall.
lower than that though. But okay, possibly.
Yeah.
Quite interesting. This photo. I cannot imagine where else it could be unless there's like some piece of sculpture in the corridor. It is
No,
also in the
us. Yeah.
yeah. It's also in the middle of the
Because it's
corridor, so it's blocking
correct.
everyone quite effectively, right? So, wow, interesting, huh? Anyone has any ideas what it might be? Akuros is saying yes. She seems to be looking at the camera. Why do you say she? Shahira is saying I see a lady that's pregnant. Oh, is she? Is that why she's slouching a little bit, carrying weight? Could it
Because
be
she got
kneeling?
the belly kneeling.
Oh, got oh, yeah. Oh, maybe, maybe. Yes, you're right. Jose Boy is saying, could it be kneeling? Demonic Slayer is the ghost phasing through the floor.
Yeah, man. That's another option
That's
also.
interesting. Yeah, that would explain the legs. Grace is saying the floor looks like there's shadow. Oh, okay. Is there a shadow of the shadow?
A bit leh. Got a bit
A
leh.
bit. So maybe it's not a shadow, but it's actually there.
You see? Right?
Wait,
zoom
but
out.
but look at the students. Where are their shadows falling? Are their shadows falling the same way?
Yeah.
Okay lah. So correct. Not a weird shadow. Interesting.
But no.
Is it
If see, the kid's shadow will fall that way because there's light coming from along the corridor. But if you are looking at where the shadow is standing, there is no light source behind it. So the shadow should be coming from the corridor.
The railing is right behind him. But there's more light.
Correct.
Behind.
But the shadow should be against the wall, not in front of it.
Grace is wondering if it could be a floor cleaning machine.
It looks like right. It looks like the modern day on the.
When was this photo taken? Did you ask?
Long time ago, like I said.
Back
Back when he was still in school.
Yeah. Okay, so I think it was a little bit before the floor cleaning robots. Janitor's utility cart, says Frankie. Wow. Okay.
Then I would expect more color.
That's true. Also,
Yeah.
it's not dark enough for something to be colored and turn black, right? Yeah. Okay, Danny gave us a super chat. Hello, first super chat. He says, my secondary school ever had a spiral staircase, and legend has it that the staircase was built as a zigzag due to having few skeletons buried within. Bukit Batok Secondary School. Wow.
Definitely. Are you taking the list of all the schools mentioned today? Please do.
Definitely.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Pro Asia also dropped a donation above. She says, Holy Lol Zen and I are back. Can link John's beanie. We should have merchandise, John's beanie.
This one was bought long before social media appeared and online shopping. So I don't even remember which country I bought it in. So old. Okay. Wow. Okay. Is there another photo? Someone mentioned. Daphne, I sent 2 pics of sculptures and masks placed at the corridor. Huh? How is this? What's this one related to? Were you at the same school by any chance? Cannot be, right? Did she send to you?
I'm checking.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So this is quite interesting. We've got different theories. Is it a pregnant ghost? Is it a ghost phasing through the floor? Is it looking at the camera in a very shameless way? What's going on, right? But people have said that it is not an uncommon thing to see, lah. No, it's not uncommon thing to hear, right? Wow. Okay. Interesting.
Okay, I like this. This is a good start for haunted schools. No explanation required. There's a sighting.
Yeah, I like
Thank
it.
you, Tristan D. Cresta. Oh, Tristan, it's been a
Yeah.
long while since I heard from you, brother. Drops a $10 for
Oh,
us. Thank you very much.
welcome back. Welcome back. Wow. So, okay. Any other thoughts about this place? About this place. Sorry, about this school haunting. This shadow that is either crouching or
Okay.
kneeling or walking in a strange way or
Don't know
pregnant.
what
Oh,
it is,
ah,
but one thing
mm,
I can imagine why there's so much fear that's going around is people have been talking about sightings, but no one has got it on camera. And then you
right.
randomly snap a photo and you got it. This becomes
Mm,
prized possession. And even
that's
if
true. Mm,
even if this was a sculpture, right? The
mm,
legend has already been put into place and seeded nicely, perfect for this picture to ignite everything and dominoes
that's true.
everything out. I don't know about the history of the school, and I would love to do more research into the school's background, whether it's really
Mm,
been used as a hospital. The whole trope of school turn hospital turn torture chamber. That's
mm,
quite the
yeah.
trope of horror,
The-
right? So
yes.
don't just want to jump immediately and says yes, every school is a school hospital Japanese torture chamber. But if it is, then sure, I think maybe someone has been tortured, the legs have been cut off, a pregnant woman has died there.
Mm.
Maybe, right?
It
But
falls. It
until
falls
then,
easily into the legends, lah. Yeah, definitely, for
mm,
sure. Hmm. Tristan is saying seems like an old lady. Hmm. Interesting. So this one needs a bit of
okay.
investigation. So I think we should send Eugene to Penang to the Chungling Chungling Secondary School to find out more, right? To communicate with her, okay, and get some more photos, okay?
And just to play the role, I'm going to dress up in the school uniform. Like Stephen Chow in Tao Te Wei Long. To investigate the haunting in school, I must first look like the student.
Wow, you
I wear the
scare all the
shorts
ghosts
and the
away.
t-shirt.
The ponytail and the pinafore, okay.
I wasn't thinking that one, but yeah. Okay, let's go with the next confession. John,
Hmm.
which one is this?
Okay. All right. So okay. So earlier in the first confession, there was talk of mass hysteria, which also happened at the school, right? So this story totally plunges into the mass hysteria world. Okay. And it is quite a common sort of occurrence. We've heard of like mass hysteria on school outings lah and stuff like that. But this one, wow, major, major, major case. Okay. Any background to share?
This one was sent to me via the website submission form. So I don't know
Nice.
who it is, but it's
Oh,
someone who wanted to be
anonymous.
really anonymous because it's a he lah. He's working in the government sector,
Mm,
and his confession talks about an untold case, a cold case, if you may, that has been covered up
nice.
by the government.
Oh, okay. Conspiracy territory. Okay.
Okay, over
Come.
to you, John.
Mass hysteria of Siglap Secondary School. The origin story. Since you mentioned this week's topic was haunted schools, I feel I need to get this off my chest. This incident took place before there were such things as social media and smartphones. Otherwise, this would have been blown up as a national level crisis. So, fortunately for the authorities, that they were able to cover it up. So far, when I search for this news online, nothing shows up. But I'm going to tell you the full story. Please do not use my real name as I don't want the past to affect my present. I'm working for the government. Lah. I feel it's safe to mention the school now because it no longer exists. This incident took place in Siglap Secondary School during the 90s. Those of your listeners tuning in who were studying there during the era will certainly remember it because it was quite a big deal. The school was shut for the day, if I remember correctly, or we were all told to go home earlier to allow the 5 major religious representatives to do a thorough spiritual cleansing of the school. Okay, let me backtrack a bit. A week leading up to the FUBA, fucked up beyond all recognition, the school had a series of mass hysteria cases. It began with just 2 female students, patient zero, I call them, and then it spread to the whole class. When that happened, the principal warned that anyone caught playing a fool, aiding and abetting in this hooligan behavior will be suspended. The next day, 2 more classes went into mass hysteria. Students were behaving like animals, shrieking and jumping on tables, falling into epileptic fits, a total shit show. I think that's when the school leaders took the case more seriously. It's also bad for the optics of the school that many students got suspended at the same time, and there were many angry parents at the doorstep demanding answers. There were no patterns to any trigger or specific time or place. All the mass hysteria events took place during the day, two of them in separate classrooms at the same time, and the first one was during PE lesson in the field. No one knew how or why it started, except for three students. Two of them were the patient zero that I mentioned, and the third one is me. It was the week after the exams, so the teachers were a bit more relaxed. There were no lessons during marking week, but we still needed to be present in class. We were, however, allowed to play games, read a book, or just mingle, as long as we kept our volumes down. My two friends and I, let's call them LH and XT, were bored of playing the usual game of Uno. So LH suggested that we should try the spirit of the pen. It was trending, and other students from other classes were already into it. This game involves writing alphabets and numbers on a piece of paper. On the bottom left corner is the word yes, bottom right, the word no, and in the lower middle portion is the word home, circled. So both players will hold the pen lightly, thumbs at the top, exerting just enough pressure to balance the pen on its tip. The spirit is summoned in the way you would with a traditional Ouija board, and apparently the pen will move without any assistance to spell out the answer. This game or ritual requires two players. Apparently, the combined energy is required to power the spirit. So I was present, but I didn't participate. I have heard enough ghost stories from other students to be wisely spooked, but it's also for this exact reason that some students found it intriguing to play this game. So the two girls giggled and asked inane questions about who likes who and who is going to marry who. They had a good laugh about it, so much so that I began to feel the moving pen might be all an act. They, however, insisted that it wasn't. Till this day, I don't have an answer. But it didn't matter, because the next day, they leveled up from the spirit of the pen to the spirit of the coin. It functioned the same way, except instead of using a pen as a planchette, the two players placed their ring fingers on a 50-cent coin. You can use any denomination, but because of size, a 50-cent coin is preferable. They called back the same spirit from the day before, who had claimed that its name was Lucifer. I mean, like, sure, the Prince of Hell himself is going to pop into a cheap plastic red leaf ballpoint pen for two prepubescent schoolgirls asking about their love life. Sure, I'm sure it's Lucifer. So I really wasn't taking any of this seriously, lah. Spooky, yes, because I heard stories about it. But when it was conducted in front of me, it felt more like a joke. A parlor trick. That's how Parker Brothers marketed their Ouija board back in the 70s, wasn't it? Something the whole family can enjoy. But the girls seemed to be getting quite a kick at this upgraded coin version, saying that all the answers were super accurate. So I decided to give it a try. We had to chant the words. I can't recall exactly what was said, but it was something along the lines of, we invite the spirits to communicate with us through this coin. But since we were multiracial, we recited the chant both Mandarin and English. Almost immediately, the coin started moving without any force from me. I looked at XT, who was my partner, and gave her the, yeah, okay, this is so not funny look. She denied that she was moving the coin. LH told me to ask some questions with answers that only I would know. I started with a simple yes or no question. Am I circumcised? The coin moved to yes. The girls giggled. Okay, that was a 50% chance. I wasn't impressed. Next, I asked for the name of my first pet that had passed away from testing gravity from the 9th floor of my flat. The coin spelled out CHERRY. Okay, this is getting interesting, I thought to myself. Then I asked, what was the date? The coin moved to 1992. LH must have read my facial expression. told you it works, she said. Okay, my turn now. XT told the spirit that LH wanted to play next and invited the spirit to reset the board, and the coin slid to home. XT and LH, now veterans at the game, launched into the ritual with the panache of a show host, inviting all the spirits in the vicinity to join in. Their confidence elevated mine, and having witnessed firsthand how accurate the spirits were in answering the questions, I was getting more intrigued than fearful. LH and XT had moved on from the gossip type questions to topics about life and the afterlife. How did the spirit die? Why are they still here? Who killed you? There was no way to verify the answers, but the assumption was since the spirits had been accurate before, there was no reason to doubt them. This time, when the girls wanted to end the game, the coin refused to move to home. Eventually, LH decided that she and XT will just lift their fingers at the same time to end the game, which was one of the taboos of this game. If you do not send the spirits home, or if they refuse to go, ending the game prematurely means that the spirits will still linger around. They burned the piece of paper in the grassy patch behind the classroom, and they buried the coin under a tree. When the fallout happened in the days that followed, the three of us kept mum about it. We didn't even speak about it to each other, for fear mainly of our parents finding out. But thankfully, other than that week of mass hysteria, nothing else happened. I felt they got out of this quite lightly. I was in NCC uniform group and had heard stories about students from other groups doing similar things. Some were not as fortunate. In fact, St. Anthony's Convent has a similar mass hysteria case, but that too wasn't reported. Maybe if you got any confessors from those schools, you can ask them about it. Wow. This one shock.
Government cover up, huh?
Okay, Arcturus is asking, I don't understand how this confession moved from mass hysteria to Ouija board.
Okay.
So he's actually trying to explain the mass hysteria incident that happened by telling us the origin story, right? They believe that it was because of these three kids, right, himself included, messing around with the Ouija board, that they unleashed multiple spirits into the school, right? Who didn't want to go home, so that might have caused it. How it all ended, I guess, was the 5 spiritual leaders that came down and did their usual cleansing, right?
What 100 Sifu?
Amazing that they were able to organize 5 different spiritual leaders on the same day, like on that same, like literally like on call. Were they literally on call? Like jump into a fire truck and then straight down, right?
I think under the GB's authorized vendor list, you have this 5 of them, or 15 because you need to have 3 codes, so 15 of them will be there already.
Then I think the kids will have to be possessed for quite a few weeks while they slowly sort out the GBs.
Lowest code win, send proposal.
So I guess when it comes to mass hysteria, you can skip GBs, huh?
No, it's under 2005 can skip.
That's not
direct,
it, yeah.
Direct to vendor.
500 each.
Okay lah, maybe 2005, under 2005 per master lah.
Okay, so who was from this school, and does anyone remember this, right?
Siglap.
He's saying that if you were from there, you should have known about it because it was the talk of the school, but later on it was hushed up, right? So interesting, huh? Actually, anyone who would have been in the East, you should have heard about it, right? Eugene, did you ever hear about this?
No. Okay, then again, there was no internet during that time, so it's not something that was spread around easily. And also, I think mass hysteria, if I recall my childhood growing up, it was not the most scary thing compared to... Alamak, your camera just fell.
Oh no, okay, that's because my cat's climbing. Okay, go away, cat. Okay, yes.
In Malaysia, there's a lot of reports. Like if you just go Google mass hysteria, Malaysian schools abundant. Singapore schools, 0. But when I spoke to some of the confessor, there's one confessor I spoke to. He was living at Bidadari. He attended a school in Bradel. He mentioned that there was mass hysteria in his school. Uncle Patrick said there's a mass hysteria in ACS. And now we got latest confession, mass hysteria in Siglap. And the confessor also said that St. Anthony's Convent also had mass hysteria
yes.
case. But you don't find any of this reported anywhere. So audience of Supernatural Confessions, if you're from any of that school or you have heard any of these stories, please let us know in the comment section. We want to hear from you. Get inside scoop. What does the government not want us to know?
I mean, okay, like if you think about education in Singapore, right, and how competitive schools are, right, for getting good students and appearing to do well in every aspect, right? So I think it would be extremely counterproductive to the school to let a mass hysteria incident go out, right? It's like, oh, one of our CCAs is possession. So I think they would definitely, not just as a school but probably ministry level, right, want to keep the reputation of schools a lot cleaner and spick and span, so they would put in the effort, right? I can imagine other countries like your own school, look after yourself, have to close down also, what, but in Singapore our schools are a pretty tight network of sort of government education, so you cannot let any school malu the rest lah, right? So I can imagine that, yeah, it's not like just the teacher, just the principal, just the school board, but no, I think from upstairs, high upstairs.
Wait, tomorrow I get a letter from MOE, Eugene, you
for
much.
sure. You are forbidden to enter all schools. you have to homeschool Leo from now on.
Oh no. Shahira Shahajan says, I just feel like schools are an area where humans and guests, an area where humans are guests and the supernatural are the residents. Such places are not used at night or on holidays. Hey, but then it's 50-50 what, Shahira? We control the morning, they control the night lah.
Yeah, no? Share what? Can share what?
Co-working space. This was the original co-working space.
So Yao is saying, my mother was from Siglap Secondary School. And she did say that there was a time when a student kena mass hysteria. So was it a student or was it mass hysteria?
If one student
check.
not mass,
yeah, please ask your mom, and ask her whether she's in touch with her schoolmates. Like, are they in a WhatsApp group? Then can verify, because it will be most meaningful to find some secondary support for this story. What year was it, for example, and how many schools? Because I think there was 3 classes worth, right? One class was during PE, and then another one, 2 classes simultaneously. So that's a hell of a lot of spirits, or could it be just one spirit? Mess. I don't know how the organization of that is. Like, does mass hysteria, mass possession mean I have to have a lot of spirits, or just one spirit that can multitask?
Okay, so let's take a look at, for those who are new to the channel or new to paranormal, let's explain a bit of mass hysteria. What's the science version of it and what's the paranormal version of it? I cannot answer whether it's one ghost or not.
First, before you go on, right, we have to clarify between mass hysteria and mass possession.
Okay.
Right? Because mass possession is what we're talking about here, which is that something supernatural has entered the students and causes them to behave weirdly. Mass hysteria is something else, which is something has happened to trigger sort of irrational behavior in the students, not necessarily supernatural. Right? So which one are we talking about here? Right? Which one do you think the confessor really means?
I think most people will see it as, or at least I see it as one and the same. I see, yes, mass hysteria, people behaving in the illogical, hypnotic manner as a group, in a behavior that cannot be explained. And while science may say that is a trigger effect or influential effect, I see that as something that has paranormal affliction. I don't take possession lightly. I had a conversation with Jenon this week after he was listening to the other side discussion on Monday's podcast, and he said, I said that possession happens two ways. One is when people send something across to you, and 2 is if you invite it in. And he said he has heard of other people who had none of these triggers, but something just went inside them. So, and I draw the line between possession and attachment. I think a case like mass hysteria isn't possession as a whole. It's not easy to possess, and I also think it's not. If it's one entity, there's gonna be a very powerful entity that really exudes a lot of this energy that affects people on a psychological level.
Right.
Is that possible? And what kind of demon are we dealing with? And like what the confessor said, really, Lucifer come all the way down to my school to possess red leaf. Like, so then the question mark that we have to ask is, why your school so special? Right? That a demon
What's
of
that
this
brand
nature.
of that brand of pen,
Yeah.
it's all an ad for red leaf, you know. Okay, I at this point I must sort of disagree, right? Because I feel that hysteria is not at all the same category as possession. Because so like some people are already sharing, right? Like someone said every Taylor Swift concert got mass hysteria. And yes, that's exactly what they mean, right? Like one of the clearest instances was that sort of worldwide sort of understanding of mass hysteria was when the Beatles first went on tour, right?
Yeah.
And people went insane. Not just normal sort of I'm a fangirl, but they went insane, right? And
Collapsing and everything.
yeah, correct. So they are that already is extreme, right? It's far more than just being excited about their presence and all that. It's really unable to control themselves, unable to think rationally. They lost their minds literally, but it is clearly not possession. It is clearly triggered by something, lah, right? And so the origins of that are clear, but the behavior that results is unpredictable and irrational. Whereas when it comes to a supernatural possession, that's totally different because there's a thing that intends to occupy. The intention is different. It's not like the Beatles were like, "Oh, I'm going to cast a spell on these girls." Not at all, right? But yeah, I think maybe that's the difference, right? Possession, there is an intent, whether the person who is sending it or whether it's the entity who wants to come in, right? But the intent to possess as opposed to the trigger to acting weird,
Yeah.
So that's
But
the line I draw, lah. Yeah. So in
But in
this case,
there's no trigger.
yeah. So in this case, because if we take the Ouija board, not the Ouija board, sorry, the coin, right, as the origin, then we are talking about possession, not hysteria. So if they were acting like animals in the classroom, it could be that from that description, it could be both. Right? It could be because exam over or started to act like animals, right? Or it could be that they were possessed by animalistic spirits, right? Who made them. So I would think that since we are talking about it on SC, it wouldn't be about mass hysteria, and we are actually talking about mass possession.
Okay.
For tonight lah,
Yeah.
right? Because mass hysteria, like someone else said quite funnily in the comment, he said, if it's mass hysteria, they won't invite 5 religious masters; they'll invite 5 counselors.
Okay, makes sense. Makes sense.
So mass possession, right? So we're talking about the idea that unless it's Lucifer himself, right? Or high enough in the hierarchy to have the power to simultaneously possess several classes of students, right? Or is it a horde of spirits? Like
Or
my
could it be
crazy
all
dog
the
spirits.
students who tulan the principal say you want to suspend us, right? Long zong, we all in solidarity, all let's go.
I would totally believe in that, but that would still mean that there was at least one sort of sparking incident, right? So it could be that the first one is genuine, and then the other one is a rebellious act. It's like, oh, you want to do this to my friends? Then let's all act crazy.
Okay, but don't forget
know?
the other classmates were also taking part or performing their own rituals as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's
all
true.
are locking at the same time.
No, I mean that if they are trending, then there's a sort of shared consciousness, right? Of like, why you sort of taking? Or was it banned by any chance? Was this a reaction to the school, like sort of?
No, there's no
speaking
ban.
up
I remember
against
last
that
time
game? No, right?
in my own school, so we used to play that all the time. It was like a thing, it was a trending thing. Yeah.
So I'll tell you where there's a slight overlap between, okay, not really overlap lah, okay, but a possible supernatural trigger to mass hysteria, right, is when people believe enough that such a thing is happening, right? and then suddenly they themselves start to feel like, I'm feeling strange. I'm feeling a headache. I must be possessed. And it's a sort of slippery slope. And they convince themselves that. So if anyone's familiar with The Crucible, for example, right, a wonderful play by Arthur Miller, right, and it is about it was set in Salem during the witch hunts, right, and that this idea of this group of girls who all believed that they were possessed by the devil, right, and through the play you're actually wondering like how many of them are lying, right? And how many of them are convinced that it did happen, even though a moment ago they weren't, right? Because the mass collective belief in the devil and witchcraft and punishment and all that it's just so in the air that, one flick and suddenly, okay lah, fine, it did happen to me, and you're not sure of yourself, right? These are people who are not thinking rationally, right? So you would believe, I don't know whether that's what happened, that because so many students were playing, why not? That there's a spirit in the classroom and it's going to possess us all. Why not? And then suddenly from that thought, it just starts to slide downwards, and then someone starts barking or someone starts acting weird and you sort of feel the vibes, right? Your hair stand and then, So I don't know, right? Again, this is not territory that we can talk about because
We're not psychologists.
yeah, and it's hysterical. So you can't talk
Yeah.
rationally about hysteria, right? You can't say, "Oh, I wouldn't believe that," and like you would if you were hysterical,
Yeah.
But yeah,
If
so rationally,
if your favorite band comes down, you will not be behaving the same way.
correct.
Yeah.
And then later you will totally disengage and go, "Oh, I don't think I did that. I can't possibly have done that," but you did.
Now let's draw back from the last confession where we had with the club one, right? And in the club area, people have been taking alcohol or drugs, and then there was of course one explanation is they were tripping, they were drunk, but from what we heard about the confession in an environment like that, there are spirits waiting on the sidelines to enter the bodies of these people who have
take
their
advantage,
right. So when in this case, because they play with this ritual, they have made a connection with spirit. They have opened a gateway to, like what you just said, a lot of power of suggestions. They're saying other people do this. So the overall defense of the students' mind
Is
is
very
very
low.
much lower. So there were
That's true.
entities around already waiting, and they just hop in.
Yeah. No, that's totally believable. I think that if I was, a mischievous spirit wanting to cause trouble, I would definitely target a school that has a lot of this pen and coin stuff going on, and all the kids are nervous, and they're all telling each other stories about it, and just wait for the moment.
The
Wait
old
for the moment.
Siglap Secondary, right, is a very old school at Siglap Road. It's like single story, I think at most double story. Those
Right.
really by the drain brush teeth kind one. Then before they move on to bus series, I think in the early 2000s. But
Right.
so around the area, we did a bit of research on Siglap. There was no cemetery, nothing. Maybe if you're talking about animal spirits, then because Siglap used to be forested area, so these are very ancient spirits, not necessarily the spirit of the dead. Like which you were saying that when you're playing the board, they talk to people who died and everything. The mass possession version versus the spirits that they talk to on the board seems different classification.
I don't think that there's any way to trust the board in that sense, lah, right? Because there's no reason why the spirit has to declare itself honestly, right? And in literally every movie about the board, that's the whole point, right? That's not what you thought you were talking to, So I think that's very dubious. I think it's more sensible to identify the spirit by its actual doings, lah, right? So if it was able to possess all these kids, then it's clearly a higher level entity than we thought, right? And clearly either malignant or mischievous, lah. I don't think malignant, but it didn't actually do anything. Right, it didn't lead anywhere, and it probably let go of the students as soon as 5 religious leaders marched in the gate. It's like, okay, time to go. So I don't think it put up a fight, right? But I think it was powerful, old, and if the animal thing is to be trusted, then it is possibly a nature related thing, right? I mean, if you think about, like, for example, the Malay tiger spirit, is very, very much known for liking to possess people, and I don't know whether it's so playful. It usually possesses people and then causes a lot of harm, but sometimes it's just on a casual day. With
Yeah.
a bit of fun possession on the side. Who knows, right?
All right. Speaking
Wow.
of uniform group, next one, our
Oh,
next
nah,
confession.
okay.
Okay, once again, just a quick note. If you have any confessions at all and you want us to read it out, we will be reading out after this next third confession before the fourth. So send it in to me quick while I can still add on to the list. Right? Okay, next confession. This one is by Holy Lal. It's called Uniform Group Camp at Bedok View Secondary School. Okay, I read this one, John?
Oh, wait. One thing before you start.
What?
Thomas Lee just shared. Kubur Kasim is near to the Siglap Secondary School. Was it? I don't know where the school was, but was it near Kubur Kasim?
No.
Because that would be a very old cemetery that's near the school.
Unless Siglap Secondary was there before where I thought they were.
Okay. So we don't know yet. Okay, we'll check this out. Okay,
Check
sorry,
it out.
sorry to interrupt. Let's go back.
Okay. A few years ago, back when I was in secondary school, something terrifying happened that still haunts me to this day. I attended Bedok View Secondary School and the incident took place during our uniform group camp. This 3-day, 2-night camp was for the NCC, NPCC, Girls Guide and St. John cadets. The first day was uneventful, just cleaning drills and campfire practice. But the real nightmare began on the second day. Every year on the second night of UG camp, uniform group camp, we had a campfire followed by the infamous night walk, where students would dress up as characters and hide in haunted spots around the school. These spots included the design and technical block, the school hall, the last classroom on the first floor, and the third floor toilet. Each of these places had a creepy backstory. For instance, there was once a toilet in the D&T studio where a student mysteriously disappeared, leading to the toilet being sealed off with bricks and cement. The school hall was rumored to have a headless body dragging his head across the floor at night. The last classroom had a Star of David spray painted on the floor that cleaners cannot remove. And one of my friends even claimed to see red eyes in there when she was alone. The classroom was eventually locked up. Lastly, my form teacher, who managed one of the CCAs, mentioned that students often heard water running from the manual taps in the toilet after CCA, despite no one being there to turn them on. To prove to everyone that these ghosts were just myths, our discipline master chose these haunted areas as designated scare zones. I was assigned to the classroom with the Star of David along with the two of my UG mates. We were to stay there and wait for instructions via walkie-talkie whenever a group of students approached. The moment I stepped into that classroom, the excitement turned to dread. Strange things started happening. One of the guys, T, began acting bizarrely weird when our third mate, M, had left the room to check on other things. T insisted I sit in the middle of the Star of David as a sacrificial object. He had this eerie laugh and smile. It was as if he had become a different person. When M returned, T reverted to his normal self and seemed confused about what had just happened. Then we noticed T had a long deep cut across his palm that he hadn't realized until now. We were all stunned but stayed quiet, telling him to clean his wound. After that, things seemed normal for a while until someone called on the walkie-talkie, summoning all leaders together at the parade square. We all rushed there, only to be told by the teachers and that nobody had issued such a call. Feeling unnerved but trying to maintain our composure, we returned to our zones. As we walked back, my knee began hurting, but I ignored it, thinking I was just tired. When we reached the classroom, we found a chair placed in the middle of the Star of David. Creeped out, we started hearing the metal cabinet slowly opening, even though it was locked. Unable to do anything but continue, we officially started the night walk. After the night walk concluded, we headed to the canteen to wrap up the night. It was then that I realized I could barely walk. My right knee was severely swollen, purplish red, blue and black, making it almost impossible to move. Shocked, my friends helped me and I was sent home, needing 3 to 4 weeks to recover. When I finally returned to school, my batchmates shared their own creepy experiences. Students participating in a night walk later complained about feeling their ankles grabbed in the toilet scare zone, something our scare actors were explicitly forbidden to do. As they were hiding under the sink, they also heard someone whispering to them, "Be quiet." The lights in the toilet were switched on manually, but apparently it kept getting switched off whenever the third person left. To this day, the memories of that campfire night still sends chills down my spine. Oi, oi. Oh, this one.
Okay, Bedok View Secondary School was very near to where I used to live at Bedok South Avenue 3. Right? And in fact, one of my cousins taught there. So I shall go and check, verify with her whether she heard about this story. Wow, quite shook. Have you ever done
Holy Lal also, sorry?
Yeah, ask.
Done what? I said Holy Lal also sent us a photo of her knee, so it's not just BS. She sent us photos of how her knee looked like. You want to see this?
Yes, please.
Didn't knock into anything, Didn't fall, No
That's
fall,
serious.
no knocks.
That is
And
so
it
serious.
This is how it looks like.
Wow.
So she couldn't even walk.
Okay.
She had to be sent back home, and it took
Yeah.
3 to 4 weeks to recover.
Gosh.
So a wound like this, I would imagine it's a huge, like almost like a car sped by the traffic light and hit you right in the knee. But for her, she just sat in the style of David. T acted a bit weird. Okay, the T part, I'm still willing to hold back my belief and say it's just 2 kids playing a fool. I'm still willing to go with that. But this bruise that just wouldn't go away and the kind of pain that she went through,
Yeah.
cannot explain.
Wow. I wanted to ask, right? Have you ever done any sort of these school night walk things? Yeah.
Yeah. Got problem. Always got problem. But I've not seen, to be fair, I've not seen anything jump out. But there's always somebody who possessed, somebody who freaked out, someone who got touched by something, somebody who have a problem with the night walk. That is why even NTU stopped their night walk.
Yeah. So I guess, okay, so again, this spills a little bit into what we said earlier, right? Where, if you sort of keep everyone in school after hours and you know that everyone else is not around and it's empty suddenly and you're not familiar with the same building, right, when it's suddenly deserted and dark, all right? So it's an alien territory, and then of course, all the fear that you've set up, right, in your briefing, in your warnings, all the seniors doing their job, right? You have pretty much primed people to become borderline hysterical.
Okay.
No one is going into this sort of ready for it, right? These are kids. These are not, ghost hunters. These are not, right? They're not adults who have a lot of defense against this, who can rationalize around it, right? These are kids, who have only heard a few ghost stories in their life and believed everything they heard. And now they're in it for real, right? Wow, I tell you, it doesn't take a lot for someone to imagine a small thing into a big thing, and then for that one big thing to trigger everyone else in that group.
Prime really,
so
just prime.
yeah,
for this.
correct. It's not mass hysteria, but it's certainly sort of very linked hysteria, right? It just jumps from one to another, right? This thing, and not to say that there isn't possibly something in the school, right? But I think not everything that happened that night is necessarily supernatural, right? But I am curious about certain things. For example, I am very curious about the cupboard that sort of, I assume it opened noisily, even though it was locked, right? And it's a small thing, but it really caught my eye because, like, what would you do if you were in a room waiting to do your thing, and then suddenly a cupboard, the sound of a cupboard opening, and if you're in the room, then you can very much identify where it's coming from, right?
Yeah.
And then you see the cupboard is still locked.
Mm.
That to me is so bizarre that how would you even carry on with the game? How is that not the most exciting thing to happen
Yeah.
tonight? Right? How do you stop? Everyone come and see this. How did they go?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess we should carry on. I'm like, no,
That's
no.
my first thought as well. It's like, first mistake, principal want to prove there's no ghost and put this ghost walk in all these places. That's cock number one.
That one is
Second is
asking
like,
for trouble.
yeah, second is like, oh my god, check out all this haunting. What are we gonna do? I guess we just gotta go on with the night walk.
No. I would just collect everybody to sit down and stare at the cupboard and wait for it to do something else.
Chances are it will not. The minute everyone gathers around and stare at the cupboard, nothing's
Yes.
going to happen. But again, I can understand why they need to go on with it because there's an NUS scare walk, and one of the room was closed down because there were incidences. The students got pissed off. They said they felt shortchanged. They wanted the experience.
Right. But that one different lah. I mean, that one is uni level ma. This one secondary school ma. Not so demanding lah. These secondary kids on their, and some more it's uniform group, right? Discipline. Don't complain so much. But I do believe that they were feeling the duty. Like everyone's got to do their part and don't screw up this night. So if a few of them witness this, they're like, okay, we're not going to complain and get scolded by our corporal, so we better just keep quiet.
Someone said there's a face there. Is there a face?
Is there a face where? What face are you talking about? A
Like
face
a
on her
bruise
knee? What?
No lah. I think not really paradolly already lah.
Okay lah. I mean, every bruise looks a bit like someone's face lah. Wow. Okay. Just to pause the chat for a moment, pause the discussion for a moment. But Siva Sangha is asking, Eugene, is your Jalan-Jalan at Changi still on?
Yes, sir. Our Jalan-Jalan at Changi is always on every Saturday. Join us next week. We have 29th Saturday, June, and also 6th July. It's all on. Go to our website, www.supernaturalconfessions.com to get more details there. Yes, the walk is going to be on. In fact, next week, the last Saturday of every walk, we have a special walk. It's called Twilight Walk. That one starts at 4:30 p.m. So if you are not too much into the ghost story, and for some reason you want the historical heritage part, then the 4:30 version is actually something highly recommended for you.
Yeah, especially if you have some friends who you want to bring along, but a bit scared one. You bring them along to the other one lah. That one deals with Changi's heritage and history, which is quite exciting also.
Yeah, and so thank you to Pro Asia for your donations. And can you sing a Taylor song, please? I might do it at the start of the next show if something suitable comes up. So come to Friday Night Live. Come to Friday Night Live before 10. I will start singing about 9:55, 9:57. Yeah. Or John. Either one of us could be singing. I would love to hear John sing Taylor Swift.
I'm sure Taylor would also love to hear that. Okay. So
you sing, we will go to mass hysteria.
So Chua Lincoln just said, at school camps, teachers nowadays are very wary and mindful of students going anywhere on their own, and teachers do regular checks, even in the middle of the night, to ensure all of them are accounted for. I mean, now for sure, right? Especially after so many incidents that have happened, But I think, way back in the wild 90s and 2000s, I think there was a little less government with regard to this type of thing. So I think, but I think by now, there would be enough fuss from parents and stuff that MOE needs to step in and have guidelines for nighttime activities and stuff like that, right? So I don't think you will get a lot of this kind of story coming up from our present era. So there's a little bit of nostalgia here. We're hearing the kind of things that happened when people used to behave weirdly, again, the fact that all of these stories can go about sort of unverified is also because pre-social media, right? Otherwise, we'll be seeing mass hysteria live streamed on TikTok.
That's what the
Yeah,
confessor was saying lah. Because back then got
yeah.
no handphone, no social media. You get to cover up. But also the other thing is, it's very interesting to see how ghost stories and paranormal beliefs progress through the times in Singapore. Now people are more skeptical, and you also realize that the school hauntings are not the same kind of pattern as it was. The mass hysteria, the clock tower. Now there are still ghost stories. Not that there are no ghost stories. They have evolved.
I think they have to. They have to because people demand. It's not even evidence, It's not even like people who want to sort of verify the story, but rather they're just greedy for more information, right? It's like, come here, show me picture, show me video. Don't have pics or it didn't happen, right? That applies to
NPNT.
yes, it applies to the supernatural as well, right? So don't. So this is a note to all the spirits out there: if you're gonna appear somewhere, please make sure someone has a camera. Otherwise, you are wasting your time. You might as well don't appear. Don't waste your ectoplasm, okay?
Okay, we have one more at the end of the night. That's by Khan. Khan is the guy who gave us him and his mother Mary the Matt Ritchie story last week.
Yeah.
So he came back with a ghost story as well. In fact, it's quite long, and I kept the long version for our sentient patrons on our patreon.com. But for tonight, we will be sharing one story that he has given us that sent goosebumps up John and my back. So we want to keep that for later. For now, we have some other stories that is given to us from you, and we want to read this out.
Yay. Okay, I'm very bad because I haven't opened the document. Where is the document? Here it is. Okay.
It's got live submission.
Yes, can. All right. You want to go first?
Okay. This one is by
All
Sisi. I was studying in an all-girls Catholic school in the East. I would always be the first to arrive to class. The corridors would be dimly lit or not lit at all. And being 6+ in the morning, the sky was still dark. Being the first to arrive to class, I had to go into the dark classroom to turn on the lights before proceeding to my seat. My table was located at the far end of the classroom, and in the beginning of the year, I would sit there with no issues. But slowly, I started feeling a bit uneasy, like I was not alone, and like I was being watched. I started sitting outside of the classroom to wait for my classmates to arrive. One afternoon, during one of our lessons, a classmate of mine was standing at the back of the class, which was just behind me. All of a sudden, she started pointing to the window and started screaming hysterically, "Don't take me! Don't take me!" multiple times. She then stopped screaming, stared blankly, and fainted. A few of us rushed over to see her, while the teacher called to the principal. We were told to move to another location for the remaining of the day and was told not to mention anything about the incident. My classmates were sent to the principal's office. The next day, I found out that once we left the classroom, a few teachers conducted prayers in the classroom. My classmate returned to class a few days later and told us that she saw a lady outside the window asking her to join her. Mind you, my class is located on the 3rd floor and the window is overlooking a canal.
Confession by Brenda. Hey Eugene, I was from a previous private school which I had studied in during the late 90s at a building that is situated in the middle of Killarney Road and Somerset MRT. I will not say the name of the building, but I can share the almost exact location. It's one of the buildings that is opposite the post office. Anyways, here is my encounter. One afternoon, as our class was held in the basement, I remembered accompanying a classmate to the toilet, and as we were passing the lecture theatre, I happened to glance into the glass door and saw an Indian lady seated at the end of our big theatre on some stacked up chairs. I couldn't make out her face, but I knew she was Indian as her hair was tied up neatly in a bun and her sari was a beautiful white color, white and blue. At that time, I thought maybe it's my school librarian, as she was Indian and loved to wear sari to work. But then I realized that the day before my class started, I happened to bump into our school librarian and she was wearing a brown sari on that day. As I was pondering, I heard my classmate calling to me, And when I turned back after answering, the blue and white sari lady was gone. I didn't think much at the time, as I thought it was my imagination, so I left it as it is. Then a few days later, the security guard uncle who was working at the building struck up a chat with my classmates and I. They were really friendly and nice security uncles. During our conversation, one of the uncles asked whether we saw or encountered anything. I was surprised at first, but before confirming what I had encountered, I asked the uncle to share his experience first. The first thing the uncle asked was, "Did you see an Indian lady with blue and white sari?" I was really surprised and I nodded my head. The uncle then shared that the security guard's operations have increased to two people, as many people had resigned because of encountering her. He recalled his first encounter was during the night around 11 plus to 2 a.m. when the school was closed. An Indian lady wearing blue and white sari would glide up from the basement and would glide out to the entrance. And then about 2 a.m., she would return and glide back down to the basement. This would happen almost every day. And other incidents happened, like the light from the classroom below would turn on and off by itself. The best part was that after all these incidents, the alarm has never been triggered. Such encounters were so bad that the management finally hired another one in order to cushion the security guard's safety and fear. The security uncle shared that no one knows why this lady is here. But after working for some time, they realized that she is harmless, and the uncles told us to just leave her alone.
Confession by Safwan. Hello, Eugene. Safwan the stalker here. Ha 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 ha. I have a very short story to tell. This is hearsay from my friend. I was a student from ITE East, which is at Simei. She had her class at the science lab. After her class finished and she helped her lecturer clean up, then a rain shower in lab turned on. Her lecturer said, "It's normal." Sometimes at night, he could see things moving. Another one is I was taking a secretarial course at ITE Council, Student Council. Oh, sorry. Another one is I was a secretary at ITE Student Council. There's a room for us to use. I will always stay late to do school and paperwork. One day, while I was doing work, I could feel like something is behind me, but I just brushed it away. Suddenly, I could feel like something touched me. When I turned around, I could see that the flag of my SC just moved. So the next best thing to do is to pack my bag and run. To my knowledge, my seniors told me that the room is very keras.
By the way, that was not the Supernatural Confessions flag. I think it means student council.
Yeah, I figured.
Confession by James. Sharing this story in the early 2000s, me and my buddies would sneak into a primary school at Tampines, Street 22 at night to play football in the basketball court. One night, after our usual game, we went to the canteen area to get some water from the cooler. As we were passing by one of the staircases, we heard a loud shh. Someone or something was telling us to keep our voices down. But there was nobody at the staircase at all. It could not be the security guard, as he would have chased us out if he saw us. We all acted blur and carried on with our drink, but we left soon after. The school has since shifted, and the building has been demolished recently.
Confession by Proasia. It was like 2013. Then I went for church camp in St. Pat's. So at night, being rebellious teenagers, my friend and I went down for some adventure. The moment we went down, we saw a man in brown uniform walking towards us. He looked like he was using an old army uniform and carrying or slinging something. I think it's a rifle or I don't know. And he was holding those old lamps. Then we ran up. I don't know, but definitely not security.
Confession by Imagine Malayan. Hey Eugene, sorry so long never joined you guys. Here's another story for you guys as an apology for my absence. This story happened in Singapore Poly more than 10 years ago when the main library entrance overlooked an open field and the new library extension wasn't built yet. So every orientation camp will have their night walk. And night walks are usually preceded by seniors telling us ghost stories. So this one story was told to my senior about an incident that happened many, many night walks ago. During this particular night walk, the pair of freshies were walking along the route and walked past the main library entrance. There was no one there. But the pair of freshies heard a little kid's voice right between them asking, Koko, Koko, why you all playing? Can I play too? The freshies looked around and saw nobody and got really spooked. They took flight and ran as fast as they could all the way to the end point of Canteen 2. When the seniors asked what had happened, they recounted what happened, and the seniors decided to cancel the night walk immediately, as this incident was not one of their planned scaring ghosts. So up to this point, the story was told to my senior during the orientation camp before his own night walk. He brushed it off as yet another story to scare the freshies before their night walk, just to hype the atmosphere up. And then it was his turn to go for the night walk. All was going well until they walked past the main library entrance. Then they heard it. A little kid's voice between the two of them asking the same question. Kaka, are you playing? Can I play too? Without saying a word to each other, the both of them ran as fast as they could. They ran for 2 or 3 blocks until they were out of breath before they stopped to rest. Then the girl asked my senior, You heard that too, right? That's why you run? My senior nodded and said, There was a kid voice asking what are we playing and if he can join too. And then from behind them, the disembodied kid's voice came. Kaka, why you all run away? Looks like fun. Can I join you all to play too? They ran again, this time to the end point of the activity, and they reported what they heard. The night walk was cancelled for the second time that night. I wanted to find out if there was any truth to this story. I had a friend who had a third eye who visited the campus once. Without telling her the story prior, I asked her if there was any kid spirits around the main library. She said yes, there were. There were many kids, and they hang around the entrance of the library, exactly where the 2 incidents happened. Coincidence? Maybe, maybe not.
Confession by Sheep. Hi Eugene, sharing a quick confession that I had regarding my secondary school days. I was from a secondary school in the west side and was in the AVCCA club last time. So every Friday afternoon we will have assembly in the school hall and we will be playing the school song at the back of the hall behind the curtains. So the player is in a corner and there's a door behind the player where chairs and tables are kept inside. On this particular Friday, there were 3 of us, including me, manning the player. We were in the midst of the school song when I felt chills out of a sudden, and then suddenly, the door handle at the door was violently shaking by itself. The 3 of us got shook by it and shifted to one side and see the handle moving by itself. After about a minute, it stopped, and one of us went to the other side of the area to see if someone is stuck in the room. So this particular area has 2 entrances. One is where the 3 of us are and is always locked because they do not want people to go into the area, and we checked that it was locked on that side. When my friend went to the other gate and checked, we noticed that the old door was still locked too. The other door actually has a metal gate over it, and the gate was still locked. The 3 of us looked at each other and turned silent, and we were hoping that the assembly would end as soon as possible.
Wow. Thanks, man. That was a huge collection of last minute confessions. Wow. Shock. Very shock. Very shock. Wow. Okay. I just want to ask Eugene, which one struck you the most?
Wow, which one struck me the most? Oh.
Yeah. Whether it's the most grass or the most humorous or the most mysterious, also can. Which
I think
one?
the Indian lady one.
Same.
Indian lady one.
Like,
Wow, the one.
chills. Absolute chills.
Yeah.
Especially when the guard out of nowhere, right, just suddenly mentioned the blue and white sari. I was like, oh damn. Okay, what is it about that story that struck you?
I think it's because it's so real, multiple sightings, physical form. The rest of them you can still try to pretend like, okay, for example, the last story of the back of the school hall, right? I'm with 3 people, 2 other people. maybe it's a cat, it's a giant rat. No, I can convince myself of something else. Or we talk about the whole hearing the sound of shh. Okay, again, I'm hearing it. I can convince myself it's the wind. This voice travel from somewhere, but something about that Indian lady with the sari seems so detailed, so real, so you can touch and
Yeah.
feel. That scared me the
Because there
most.
was she had a route, right? She goes out the door and then she comes back again at 2 a.m. So she had a planned route, and they could all verify it, right? So she's so concrete, this spirit, you know. But I also like the fact that at the end of it, there's a sort of sense that okay lah, she's harmless and let her do her thing and we do our thing lah, and that's the best you can hope for, right, in a ghost story.
Which also means that
you know,
she's perpetually there, lah. So you are living with
yeah,
a ghost, lah.
yeah, and she's not out to scare you, right? You got scared because you saw her. It's not her fault. She didn't pop out at you, So
I mean,
she's kind of
hardly
the
hear
most
of
innocent.
ghosts. Yeah, but you hear ghosts with white gown, long black hair. I've not heard of a confession of a ghost in a sari. I think it could be
Yeah,
quite sexy, lah. She with
I
the
don't know.
sari moving
I don't know.
there.
I don't know. But yeah. So I mean, and it'd be interesting to investigate and find out what her origin is, right? And whether she was a teacher or whether she was a parent or whether she was someone
John, you
from
went
before the
silent.
school, even,
Okay.
right? Hello, am I still here? Okay.
Yeah, you're back.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, I mean that story was quite chilling, quite chilling. Wow, quite
Imagine
good stories. Quite,
Lions, yeah. Imagine Lions
ah,
talk about Singapore Poly. I was in Singapore Poly. I know the library is
mm,
talking about. Someone in the
mm,
confession chat just now talked about Singapore Poly Red Bridge. I think Safwan. Yes, we have heard
mm,
of the Singapore Poly Red Bridge because that's my block. I was in the
mm.
Canteen 6 DCIS block with a red bridge towards the business school. I'm quite sure the departments have all changed name. People say that they've seen spirits walking up and down the bridge. I stayed there overnight. Didn't see
Oh,
anything. However, the
okay.
second floor toilet had a bit of a problem. Enough of a problem that prompted the school to start burning offerings
Mm,
in the toilet.
mm.
So, don't know the
Wow.
backstory,
Okay.
front, middle, or end, but I know people say bridge haunted, toilet haunted, but the toilet had an actual burning offering done in there, and we're not allowed to use it for a
Wow.
day. I think back in the 90s, late 90s, early 2000, the
Mm,
belief in the paranormal was still very strong.
mm,
So school leaders, organizations would do what was required to please the spirit. I
mm.
don't know if now people say the toilet is haunted, what the school leaders would do. Probably
I
ignore it.
think it's really about generational leadership, lah, right? You think about who were your discipline masters and principals, vice principals of those days, as opposed to who has taken over from them now. It's a lot harder to convince the upstairs people that there's a genuine supernatural risk, right? It's more likely that there's a bad optics risk, and then just shut down the story without even investigating it, right? But back then, I think that there's half a belief that it could happen, because they grew up in a time where, right? So in a way, what I'm saying is just that the heyday of school hauntings might be
Over soon.
gone already lah. Might be gone because it's harder for the stories to spread, or rather, it's easier for the stories to spread, and therefore they just get jumbled up with the rest of the stories that are spread. Right? So school stories are no longer as precious as they used to be. They used to be the only ghost stories you heard until you grew up, right? It's only your school friends telling you stories. Now you see every other type of story on social media. Your own school ghosts become like, not glamorous really. you know, like
Yeah.
like think about it this way, right? Now that we can see quite regularly, clips from, let's say, some Indonesian village where there's a mass possession or something, all of these things just pop up in our feed, right? So it's a lot less exciting now for like, oh, this girl in my class pointed at the window and screamed. I'm like, oh, what? Only one girl? Lame.
People have
you
become
know?
desensitized to hauntings already.
Yeah, correct. Right. I do feel so. The glamour around all of these simple stories is gone because we have so much more to compare them to. And the fact that we have all seen more horror movies. Can you imagine the kids? Not the kids, lah, but the students back then. How many opportunities have they ever had to see this type of thing on screen? Hardly. Hardly in those days, there would have been so few horror stories even available. to be watched, right? So now it's like all hat ready by now, right? So are we jaded? Are we too jaded for the ghosts?
I would say if anyone's going to be jaded for the ghost, it'll be you and me, John, or even me for that matter. I've been doing this ghost story thing for God knows how long, week after week for 5 years, reading thousands of confessions. Like, if anyone's going to be jaded, it will be me first. Like, yeah, been there, done that, heard this one. Yeah, really? Is that all you got? No, but I think, but you are right. People, because of the noise on the internet, the expectations,
Yeah.
the disbelief, it takes a lot more to really scare someone. So I think it's a tough time for spirits. It's tough to scare people.
Yes, it is tough. It is tough. I think they're getting a bit immune to the basic scares, right? And the idea of a jump scare is such a sort of a cheap commodity now, right? I can imagine someone who like watched a few ghost movies, then suddenly when the ghost appears, like, oh, lame. I saw that in a movie. Poor ghost is like, gonna judged.
It's like so lame, lor. It's
I'm doing the best I can.
Yeah, kena diss, man. Kena diss by Gen
Okay.
Zs.
So I give you an example. Right? When I first told some friends about the pocong, right? And this is when I was young. When I first heard about the pocong from someone else, and I shared it excitedly to my friends, all they did was laugh.
Yeah.
Because it's hard for a modern Singaporean kid to find that hopping bundle scary. It's
like
ridiculous.
You tell
to
people
them.
they're 僵尸, like, wow, so cool.
Yeah, So even when we were kids, I think we had already outgrown a whole other generation of the kampong spirits, the nature spirits, and they were probably not so scary to us, right? Now even worse, right? So who knows? Who knows where the supernatural is going? I think that we need to start a scientific study within the MSA, the future of hantu in Singapore.
Clearly, John is sympathizing with the hantus yet again.
Yeah, hard to keep up, these people. Wow. Then everything I tried to
hantus.
do as a hantu, your Halloween horror nights already stole it from me. Then they feel very pressured,
We want to fight for fair scares for hantu. Fair scares for hantu.
hantu. Fair scares for hantu.
Scares for hantu. Anna Wong is asking me which toilet was it in SP. Is the one, the block. I think today is the media block. Not the business block, the media block on the extreme end, the closest towards the hostel side. Staircase down. Second one, the classroom is below the hill, so it's always very musky smelling. That's the one. Okay, we come to our last confession for tonight.
Sure.
This one is by Khan.
Wow, what time it is? Yeah, okay, we're going
11:15.
very nicely. Okay.
John, over to you. This one is by
Wait,
Khan.
hold on.
Your favorite story for tonight.
Yeah. Okay.
Wait,
Will you? Okay.
Wait. I need to turn you on first. Hey, I need to turn you on pula.
Oh, baby. Already
John.
turned on, man.
Okay, take it away.
Will you play with me? Confession by Khan. I went to a neighborhood secondary school from about 2008 to 2011. I can't name the school out of consideration. I don't want to get into any unnecessary trouble. The school opened its doors in 1986, but had to close down in 2013 in order to undergo renovations, and it reopened its doors in 2019 after merging with another secondary school. So the layout of the school during my time was far different from how it is today, except the hall and canteen and what is now the old block, which back then was our new block. I was in the school's concert band for all 4 years, and every year we'll have 2 band camps, which were held during the June and end of year school holidays. The band camps were usually 5 days, 4 nights. However, without failure, every camp will have a supernatural episode that always happens on either the 3rd or the 4th night. Prior to the closure for renovations, I can tell you this. The vibes in the school at night were really keras. No joke. Everyone, the students, the teachers, the staff, alumnus, all felt and knew that the school was haunted. During our band camps, the girls will occupy the classrooms on the 2nd floor, the boys on the 3rd floor, and the alumni will be on the 4th floor. This is how the layout of each classroom would be during the band camps, which act as our bunks. There were a few rules that we always had to follow strictly. Everyone has to sleep in the middle of the classroom, along the line on the floor, with our feet facing the main corridor. As we're sleeping in our sleeping bags, there cannot be any gap between any of us at any point in time. No one is supposed to be awake after lights out at 10 p.m. or along the forbidden corridor. If you wake up in the middle of your sleep, never ever look at the forbidden corridor. The band leaders and alumni will take turns to patrol the corridors to make sure that everyone was asleep. Usually, the leaders will make sure that the last two classrooms are unoccupied because of past supernatural encounters in those two classrooms. This story happened during the band camp of June 2011. I was in Sec 4 that year. As I mentioned earlier, every band camp will have a supernatural episode on the third or fourth night. That was the case this year. It was the morning of the fourth day. After waking up for breakfast and waiting to do our morning PT and marching drills, we were back in our bunks refreshing ourselves and getting ready to go for our section practices. Then I saw some of the female band members coming up the staircase with their belongings and heading up to the fourth floor. Evidently, they were changing bunks, and us seniors knew something had happened. The leaders and alumni told us not to ask anything, just head to practice. Lunchtime came, and that was the best time to ask the girls what had happened. We asked Denise, my batchmate, and one of the girls from that bunk. Her bunk was the last bunk on the second floor, in the 7th classroom, one of the two classrooms that we always tried to leave unoccupied, unless we had no choice due to the number of girls in the band. The story that Denise told us sent shivers down our spines. After the lights went out the previous night, which was the third night, Denise's bunkmate, Nathalie, had a blurry vision of a little girl sitting on one of the chairs at the back of the bunk and swinging her legs joyfully. Sleeping beside Nathalie was Denise. Nathalie was clearly scared because the little girl clearly wasn't one of us. Nathalie turned to face Denise on her left. Denise was kind of awoken by Nathalie, so she checked on Nathalie, asking if she was okay. Then, that's when they both heard, "Tete, will you play with me?" The little girl was now standing between the both of them at their heads. They both lost it, and the whole bunk was spooked out. They reached out to the leaders and alumnus, and they were relocated to the 4th floor. Wow.
It's very freaky.
This one is like a total cinematic moment, yeah. Wow. Okay. I will say I will not relocate. I am calling a Grab and going home. Why would you continue? Come on. Right. How tough is band that you cannot leave when you have gotten the fright of your life? And somehow everyone in the room freaked out. So it must have been verified by, you know what, at least the fear is verified, right? You're not like the only one scared, right? Cancel already lah.
I can explain this, John.
Okay, come explain.
When people are fearful and their rational faculties stop functioning, they depend on a leader or they depend on normalcy to get through the rest of the night. So in this case, yes, the fear was there, but like I said, it happened for a split second. Yeah, there was that one instance of haunting. Then when someone comes out and say, okay, let's just relocate, pretend nothing has happened, the human mind wants to go with that normalcy because you want to move as far away from that instance into what would be I'm here for the band practice, I'm going to go through this camp, nothing else will happen. But if it's a recurring haunting, instance after instance, they will leave. But for now, I bet you probably, who's this Khan and friends, probably when you ask them again, what happened that night? They were like, I can't quite remember. I remember there was a Cheche saying, voice say, I Cheche, I'll play you. But I don't know whether it's true or not. You know, the mind wants to erase the trauma. I think that's how it works lah. Because it's heard enough confession to know when we sit down on the sidelines and go like, why you still do that? Walao, go home already. But it's the whole reason why you watch Hollywood and they see the Ang Mo go up to the attic and die.
I mean, I'm very frank, right? If okay, there are certain amounts, there's certain degrees of phenomena that can be brushed off, right? If you hear someone go shh, right, or you hear a creaking door or something, you can sort of go, never mind, let's carry on, right? So you try to hang on to rationality, right? Because
Yeah.
by running away, you confirmed the thing that happened, right? So the denial makes you carry on. But yeah, the little girl standing right there between the two of you is slightly over the line already. Number one, I punched the ghost in the face, and then I run out of the room, and nothing will convince me to go back. You can FedEx my bag to my parents. I won't even. Yeah, I mean, seriously, what more would it take? Before you so carry on.
Oh.
Come on, she's right there. So for me, the line is very clear, lah. But yeah, I see what you mean, and that's probably why a lot of these incidents do sort of survive to survive to be told as confessions, lah, because people stubbornly hang on.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you have no stories. Every story will end with "I left." The end. you know.
Yeah. I saw a ghost. What do you do after that? I took a grab back home. Lor. The end.
Oh, Raven. I'm so damn late. Thank you,
Wow.
Raven.
Today.
Just in time to catch our ending.
Yeah. Yeah. Wholesome bread as well. Thank you. Thank you for today's podcast. Is there a fan meet soon? Well, I think so. We've always thought about it. We just haven't got down to organizing
Yeah.
it.
It's
there's
not
also
so
another
soon,
one,
but yes.
Yeah. Subala Fendi. First chat
Ooh.
ever. Hello, guys. Hello,
Nice.
Eugene and John. Someone was asking me something. It's not. I thought I saw.
Okay, Frankie just had a good one. Maybe the band played so badly, the ghost wants to stop all the racket from coming from
It's like,
them.
Stop it here.
Oh, shall I share my suspicion? Okay, so
Yeah.
Khan, I don't know if Khan is in the chat tonight, okay, but if you are, or just drop a message to Eugene. I strongly suspect I know where your school is, because the
where?
photograph, the photograph that you shared with Eugene, I kind of recognize, because I think
Where?
my block faces the Forbidden Corridor. Are you from Clementi Town Secondary School? Okay, no need to answer. No.
He texted me the school's name.
Okay.
It is not Clementi Town Secondary School.
Damn. I thought I solved something. Okay.
Won't tell you which
very
school
generous.
it is,
Okay, well, what? Okay.
but I'll tell you that it is in west side, further from Clementi.
Wow. Okay, even more west. Okay, that one I don't know already. Clementi is as far as I can go.
But
Okay,
Clementi
thank
Town
you.
was where his
Wait,
mother Mary used to be.
Huh? What do you mean Clementi Town was where? As in her school?
Clementi Town Secondary School was his mother's school.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Got story or not? Got story or not? Please ask Mary, please tell us, okay, if there are stories from there, because I always looked out my window and I always thought, I bet that school is haunted. But I have no evidence. Okay, big shout out. Thank you to, how do I pronounce this?
Suziex 3.
L Suzy.
Or Suziex.
Thank you
It's a
very much for
silent
your
X
generous
lah.
donation.
Silent L, is it?
Huh?
Wow, thank you
Good
very much.
podcast, she says.
Silent L.
Yes, thank you.
She agrees with me, no? Still in disbelief, but at the same time, I could agree with Eugene. Someone was saying because they're teenagers, they rather carry on with the camp than go back home.
Oh, that's true though. That's true. That is true, right? Home may not also be the best place to be. Hanging out with your friends is probably safer, right? That's a valid point of view. Yeah. I think what we're dealing with today, right, is that, as we said with the club confessions, right, that, the nature of the confessions is affected very much by what the people are going through at the time, right? If they're high and, and all that. That's partly why we asked also last week for teachers and staff confessions as well, but I think not so many. Most of these are student oriented, so same problem.
I think teachers want to keep their job lah. They don't want to lose their job.
Okay lah. But do I think if you are a teacher and you've got stories, I'm sure there are ways to keep it anonymous, right? So, but it would be nice to have some sort of other point of view, because as we've shared, right, students are in a state of near hysteria, students being told ghost stories by their seniors, students on night walk, they are very primed to believe more than there is, right? Not saying that there isn't anything, but certainly that they are a bit ready to add on a lot lah. So be better if we hear so, like, for example, the blue and white sari, right? Because there was the security guards who had repeatedly seen her. Suddenly her haunting becomes a lot more concrete, a lot more substantial, right? Yeah. So I think that's why it struck both of us at the same time in that way. That wow, this one got story, got history. There's a real
Yeah.
ghost behind this, right? So yeah. Let us know if you have experienced anything. I think there's definitely more stories coming. So part 2 of the school ghost night sure to happen.
I can do an entire episode on just Sempet story, you know that? Because I know the Sempet's principal and the ex-principal both told me stories, but both do not want to come my show.
Of
So
course they
straight from the horse's mouth, okay? This is like no joke. So to answer C. Joe's question, he says, why all the stories on top floor? Why no stories in school basement? C. Joe, Loyang Secondary and Sempet's basement got story. Unfortunately, the story is just one line. So there's nothing much for me to go on. But apparently these are the places where there's a lot of haunting.
Also, it's probably because every school has a top floor, but very few schools have a basement.
That's true.
But you know what's interesting? No school toilet stories tonight. Huh?
No lah, just me lah. It's just me.
There
were a lot of school
stuff, right? Or is it you edited them out?
No, in our confession archive, there's a lot of stories about school toilets.
Enough
it's
for
just
a
that I
toilet
felt-
episode?
I could do it. It's like probably 15 confessions about school toilets lah. You put it in one episode for y'all lah. Yeah. No, it's great. It's great stories. I'm not dissing that. It's classic. It's classic ghost story. But what I want to bring to Friday Night Live is the stories that you may not have heard about, because frankly, some of you are with me for 5 years. If tonight I give you a whole episode on toilet story, you all will boo me out of live stream, So I got to take into consideration that what have you guys heard before, what have we covered last year or the year before, and continue to give you something to keep you learning something new. Like, I didn't hear about this today. I didn't hear about that today. So that's what I want. I suppose in time to come, I will compile all the classics together and put it out in 160 seconds. Like, let's go. Short story blitz.
This is a comment
last
from...
thing to say. Sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. Cat bit 9 tails. All this reminds me of my primary school in KL. From walking shoes to huge tree in the back of the school to piano playing at night. Yeah, that's exactly what we were saying, right? That these stories appear everywhere, right? From the biggest schools to the smallest village schools. They're there lah. As long as your school has a courtyard, someone's marching in it. As long as there's a tree, someone's sitting in it. As long as there's a piano, someone's playing it. Because I don't want to be in the school, the only bloody school that's not haunted, right? That's so lame.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So
in fact, if your school is not haunted, you're uncool.
Yeah, exactly. So it is very much a competitiveness, right? It's a gang that you want to be part of, and you want your school to be part of it too. If only Supernatural Confessions was around back in the 80s, 90s. Wow, we could have gone to all these schools and, Yes.
Well, if you want to bless your place and you want to keep your school not so karas, I have this to sell. 5 sticks, 5 of this, 5, going for $10.80. That comes with a nice pouch for you to bring it around. Mine very seasoned already. See mine? I use it for it. Every Changi walk, I bring mine. So I put all my sticks inside here and I bless around the place. So $10.80 is not expensive. I got this, I think Ecuador or Peru. I think Ecuador. Yeah. I burn it every day. I sage my place just to give myself, it's supposed to cleanse the place. It also gives me a bit of confidence. And people say the smell smells really good. So if you don't like the smell, it means you're the negative entity.
Mm. How long does one stick last, you reckon?
Okay, so let me show you.
Show us the
This
stump.
one is the stick, right?
Uh,
This is like 2 weeks. 2 weeks of burning
2 weeks
every
of
day.
of every day. Wow. Okay, that's really quite long
Okay,
lasting.
considering that,
Wow.
these days I'm a bit more lazy lah. Don't burn it every day lah. So okay lah, one stick 1 week lah. One stick 1 week. So your purchase can last you 1 month if you use it very sparingly, more than a month.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So let Eugene know
Okay,
if you're
so
interested in these wonderful Ecuadorian sticks.
yeah.
Wow.
So a few things to tell you before we say goodbye. Changi Hantu Walk is still on. Go to supernaturalconfessions.com to check out details of the walk. Come in a group of 4. It's a bit cheaper. We will help you save costs as well. Every Monday we have The Other Side. Now Wendy, the host of The Other Side, The Voice, she has actually written a full article on school hauntings, but in London. So I told her, why don't you put it out into a special episode and turn it into The Other Side story. Tuesday, housekeeping. As always, we are back with Belinda. Now, Wednesday and Thursday, we have something new. No, something old, yet something new. We are taking all the old confessions, bringing it out, and when in London, who's the voice of The Other Side, is going to re-narrate them. And we're going to release out on Thursdays and Fridays. Confessions from even 5 years ago and even later before that. And of course, Friday Night Live, without fail, next week we are coming back. And you can guess it, is what we wait for every year in July. SAF Day. Army stories galore. So if you got army stories, please send it in. My number is 9459491. We might even make it a 2-parter.
Let's see how many stories come in. Good. Okay, so please start digging up stories, huh? All right. Army one is challenging, yeah? Challenging. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, John, I think you're a bit lagging already, but it's okay. We're coming to the end of the show tonight. Yeah. Any last words for us?
Wow, last words. I think the beauty of school ghost stories is we can outgrow school, but you cannot outgrow ghosts.
I like this particular line that Asap used to say.
Mm.
Don't believe, never mind. But listen to old people. You live longer. All right. Good night, everybody. We'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, boomers.
What did you find?
You are listening to Supernatural Confessions.